Hello, Professor. Hello, classmates. My name is Kiana Pinnock, and I'll be presenting the Harlem jazz scene, 1910 through 1930. The story of jazz music begins with the Great Migration. This is because jazz music actually finds itself and its origins in New Orleans. Jazz music is a blend of um, slave work songs, spirituals, the blues, and ragtime. During the Great Migration, which took place between 1910 and 1920, there were hundreds of thousands of Black Americans who traveled from the South to the North for better opportunity. They were fleeing violence via lynchings and Ku Klux Klan intimidation, as well as the strengthening of Jim Crow laws and other suppression that occurred post Reconstruction. Many of these people from the South were talented musicians themselves and found their way to Harlem, one of the most popular destinations for people within the Great Migration, and also other people coming in from the Caribbean. They all decided to call Harlem home. The time period that jazz was really developing and cultivating into an art form is also taking place the same time period known as the Harlem Renaissance. The Harlem Renaissance is really a time where Black artists and Black business and just Black nationalism are on the rise and have been given opportunity to grow because there are newspapers, there are Black publishing agencies, there are Black owned venues, there are Black schools, there are Black specific, not segregated as much, but there's a Black New York Public Library, which is within it has the artwork of some of the greatest Black artists of the time. And the same is occurring with music. These clubs in Harlem come to see some of the greatest names in jazz music take their stages. Um, Cab Calloway and Duke Ellington keep regular residencies at the Cotton Club, one of the most popular venues in Harlem at the time, which is also sadly segregated. So Black people in Harlem still are not able to enter and often listen from outside. Another popular venue at the time is the Savoy, and like the Cotton Club, the Savoy keeps regular broadcasts, live broadcasts of performances. So the music and the Harlem jazz scene is not just staying in Harlem, it is also being shared across America. Another jazz great who is, you know, refining his craft during this time period in Harlem is Louis Armstrong. A musical genius, one of the fathers of American vocals as he develops the riff um, and performs that regularly, just changing the face of American music single-handedly through his musical instrumental solos and actually keeping the crowds in Harlem just on their toes with what he would be doing and what they would see him do. And this is not just limited to Louis Armstrong. The women who were performing jazz music in Harlem also changed what kind of material was being performed on stage and how songs were sung. Billie Holiday did both with her performance styles and the expression that she gave through her songs, as heard through Strange Fruit, which was a poem that she sang with such sorrow, related to the violence actually, um, that the same people fled in the Jim Crow South, um, as well as Ella Fitzgerald, who really would perform sort of opposite to Billie Holiday, where Billie expressed so much sadness in her delivery. Ella Fitzgerald really sang with a joy, and you could sort of hear the smile that was on her face as she sang. Um, the Harlem jazz scene also differed from the music that it was developed from, as uh, that was more of a solo performance or a single instrument performance. The Harlem jazz scene developed the that the Black American orchestra, the Black American band and band leader came out of um, this time period with the Count Basies, and as I spoke about before, Duke Ellington. This period of time really well represented through music the idea that Alan Locke presented of the new Negro, which um, called on Black people to really shine through their talents and create such an awareness of self at the time that their talents would really become a propaganda to the country and allow the country to view Black Americans differently. It didn't always work, but you can see the you know the lasting imprint of the jazz music in Harlem in American culture, and it was not only spread by the Black musicians there, it also was spread by white musicians who traveled to Harlem and studied the art and then brought the cleaner version to more white American audiences. Um, Often seemed like Harlem was insulated from the what occurred outside of its borders, but the Harlem jazz scene and Harlem Renaissance would change and sort of go on a decline due to the stock market crash of 1929, which was also followed by the Great Depression. And because of this, many of the Black businesses would close. The clubs that were being packed to see these jazz performers would sort of fade into the background as people were just not able to invest any money into to leisure and or the arts. And that is the Harlem Jazz scene. Thank you.